Hey everybody, it's Jen. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to share my recent experience sailing Disney Cruise Line out of Fort Lauderdale. I just got back from a 5-night sailing on the Disney Dream out of Port Everglades. I'm going to share the good, the bad, and also what may be my new favorite hotel if you have a cruise out of Fort Lauderdale, and I'm really glad that you're here. So I did a vlog of my 5-night trip. I would love for you to go and watch it. It was truly amazing, and actually I take that back. It was a 5-night sailing. It was a 6-night trip because, as we know, it is a rookie mistake to arrive at the cruise port the day of your cruise. You really want to fly in the day before. As we know, delays can happen, mechanicals can happen. You really don't want to watch the boat sail away because you weren't able to make it there on time. So I always fly in the day before. Now, I live in Atlanta, so the flight between Atlanta and Fort Lauderdale is very easy, only about an hour and a half. But even if you were driving, I would still strongly suggest coming in the day before, because if you've ever traveled at all on Georgia or Florida freeways, you know that accidents can and do happen. And I have had what should be a 6.5, 7-hour drive be more like 9 or 10 hours. And again, the ship is not going to wait for you. So getting in the night before is extremely important. In the past, when I have sailed out of Fort Lauderdale, I have stayed out at Fort Lauderdale Beach, which is lovely. It's wonderful to be able to see the ocean. I would go for a run up right there along the beach. Really beautiful hotels out there. Also very expensive hotels out there, especially if you're traveling during a holiday weekend like I was. It was President's Day. I didn't really realize when I booked it. This is what happens when you don't have kids in school. You kind of lose track of the holidays. But there are options that are much closer to the cruise port. The challenge can be a lot of those options are a little older. They're a little run down. They don't get great reviews. They can be a little dirty, a little, noisy, all of the things. So when I went to book my stay, I really was kind of struggling, if I'm going to be honest, because I had stayed at the Ritz-Carlton out at Fort Lauderdale Beach, which was incredible, of course. But for the nights I needed, it was like $800 a night. So I was looking around that $200 to $300 a night category, which is what you're going to pay. And a lot of the offerings were getting terrible reviews. I stumbled upon the AC Marriott in Dania Pointe. Now, I pronounced it wrong, I think, in the video that I did, but I did find out from my Uber driver it is called Dania Pointe. Now, let me tell you, before I get into comparing it to Port Canaveral, what I loved about this area for a pre-cruise stay. It's attached to a really lovely outdoor high-end mall. We're talking there's everything from Tommy Bahama to Sephora to Ulta Beauty, a whole bunch of high-end shopping. There's also a TJ Maxx that's just a very, very short walk away. It's all extremely well planned, very, very safe. It is a beautiful high-end area. And I think for a night before a cruise, when you're likely to get in late afternoon, early evening, it's great to not have to travel very far to get food and amenities and any last-minute things you might have forgotten. There's a Sprouts grocery store within walking distance of the hotel. And when I say walking distance, I mean unbelievably safe walking distance. As someone who travels by myself, it's really important to me that the areas around the hotel feel super comfortable and safe. And I had zero hesitation walking around there. Now, of course, as is true anywhere, don't walk around by yourself at 2 o'clock in the morning, but I would have felt very comfortable going out in the evening, grabbing a bite to eat, doing any shopping that I needed to do. And it's just a really, really nice area. Now, the hotel itself, I'm going to go to footage of myself, kind of my first impressions, and then I'll come right back. Okay, I literally just walked in the room, so we'll just discover everything together. The air conditioning is running. I actually got this room on points, so I paid no dollars, so that's good. No dollars is good. What's the coffee maker situation? We have complimentary coffee. Do you have chamomile? Oh, they have chamomile. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy right now. They have complimentary coffee downstairs in the morning. One of these open cabinets for your clothes and some drawers. It's nice that they have glasses in the fridge, and with Bonvoy you get complimentary water, so that's a really nice amenity. Over here you have the bathroom, really nice. This is a brand new hotel, by the way. I think all the ACs are set up like this. Very nice towels, beautiful shower, rain head shower, and then this whole thing going on the wall. And then it's Core's shampoo, conditioner, and body gel. And then I'm trying to see, after my comment last week about the body lotion situation, this one is, oh, this actually looks pretty good. And it looks like it's a little bit better container for that. Makeup mirror, blow dryer, which is great. And then there is our big mirror and our commode. And I like this. This is reminding me of Japan. That's cute. I like that a lot for the little amenities. Then it's open underneath. I think this might be an accessible room based on how low the bed is. But it doesn't have a roll-in shower, but it does look like the sink is accessible. Not sure on that. Then you have this really cool bench here, which I really like that. Really nice and open. Nice king-size bed. No space for storage underneath, but a nice king-size bed. And lamps, cool artwork. Oh, let's check the bedding situation, as we always do. Oh, very nice. Okay, this is a proper duvet with a proper duvet cover. Very nice. Well done, Marriott Bonvoy. And then we have a couch, a table, a little workspace, and my view is just of the condominiums that are across the way. But you can see it's like a brand new area, and it's really nice. I probably will go out in the morning and walk around and show you guys the area a little bit. So the reasons I loved this hotel so much, number one, very, very, very clean, very new, very well-appointed rooms. Number two, the people that work there were amazing. And I used points for this stay, but I don't ever get comped for my hotel stays, at least not yet. So if that ever happens, I'll be the first one to tell you. But this is not sponsored. Nobody paid for my hotel room. The staff was amazing, very kind, very welcoming. The breakfast was really good. It was $18 for what they called a European style buffet. They also had, espressos and cappuccinos, and all of that was included. And then you also were able to order hot menu items. And I got the scrambled eggs served on toast. Really good, really high quality. The views were lovely. The lobby was gorgeous. It kind of overlooks this little green lawn area. There's a little chess thing out there. They also have a really beautiful pool area that was up on, I think, the 7th or 8th floor. And it just felt very high end to me. They came around, gave everybody waters. Of course, there were ample towels. There were a lot of us out there just enjoying the beautiful weather. The pool was very, very quiet. I could have easily gone for a swim. And it just felt very comfortable, very safe, very welcoming, which is what you want in a hotel, especially as someone who's traveling by themselves, and especially on a travel day before a big cruise coming up. Really delightful. In fact, one of my hesitations out of sailing out of Fort Lauderdale in the past has been the quality of the hotels. Either the quality wasn't great or I was going all the way out to Fort Lauderdale Beach. And when I say all the way out, it's like a 30-minute drive, but I like everything to be really, really close, and this was fantastic. The other thing I really loved about this hotel is they actually offer a shuttle service. It's from a third party, but it's $20 to get out to Port Everglades. I did not choose to partake in that because my arrival time was a little off when you could get on the shuttle, but I think that's a fantastic option. I think I paid $25 for my Uber, so it was very comparable in price. But the shuttle, it didn't seem like it was a big, huge shuttle. It was just a small little shuttle, and they were taking people over to the port pretty regularly. So they're very used to cruise travelers staying there. The price for this hotel was not bad, and I just found it to be a really lovely start to the vacation. It didn't feel like I was arriving and waiting for the vacation to start. It really felt like the vacation had already started. I did do a little bit of shopping. This hat, this is from Disney Cruise Line's Pride line from a couple years ago, I forgot. And so I did have to do a little shopping. I popped into TJ Maxx and was able to pick up a couple of ball caps, which worked out great. So yeah, I just think it's a fabulous area. Now, as far as Port Everglades as opposed to Port Canaveral. The biggest difference is the time. So from the airport to Port Everglades, you're talking 15 minutes. From the airport at MCO in Orlando out to Port Canaveral, you're talking an hour, sometimes if there's traffic, an hour and a half. Sometimes if there's a launch, as I was stuck in once, 2 hours. So the convenience of everything is really, really nice. Now, I will tell you, we did get stuck in a fair bit of traffic on the way from the hotel to the port. It was right there as you're coming into the port. And Disney had actually sent us all a message before our sailing saying, listen, there's a lot of activity going on at the convention center and other cruises going out that day. So make sure you allow plenty of time. So it should have only taken 15 minutes, took us closer to like 20, 25. Really wasn't a big deal, but I was glad that I was prepared for that, and that can happen. And I hope that if you're sailing out of that port, Disney would send you a message as well if they were concerned about traffic. But I think always allow yourself plenty of time. Now, when you get to the port, and unfortunately I did not film any of this because it was so incredibly busy, because Port Everglades is so much smaller than Port Canaveral, it feels more chaotic. And they will hold you, although I think they do this at Port Canaveral too, they will hold you out like in the garage area before they'll let you into the terminal if you arrive early. So that would be my number one tip. Don't arrive early. It's not a pleasant place to wait. It's very customs, garage, airporty. A lot of people yelling, a lot of noise, especially if you have little ones that tend to get overstimulated, or if you're a 54-year-old that tends to get overstimulated. Don't arrive early. I would say either plan to arrive on time or even slightly late so that by the time you arrive, you can just walk right in and you're not held in that kind of yucky horn honking. You know what I'm talking about. You guys can picture it in your head, right? We don't love that. I might have some footage from the last time we sailed out of there. If I do, I will have played this while I'm talking, like the good professional YouTuber that I am. The other thing is, I would say that it's not quite as nice as the Port Canaveral terminal, but it is very nice. Disney has their own setup there, their own terminal. You still walk through the Mickey head to get on the ship. There's plenty of seating. It was very loud and very chaotic in the terminal waiting area. I don't remember Port Canaveral feeling quite that chaotic, and I think it's only because it's so much of a bigger area in Port Canaveral before you get on the ship. So yeah, that's just one thing to be aware of. And again, if you've sailed Disney a lot, if being one of the first people on the ship isn't that important to you, they call your boarding group, but you can always show up later. So as long as you're within plenty of time that you're not going to miss the boat, showing up a little later may give you a little bit less chaotic experience. And you always want to make sure you check in as early as possible to try to get those earlier boarding times. But yeah, it was a little crazy. It was a little too crazy for me. Now, what I love though is how close it is to the airport, because when my cruise was over, and what I chose to do was book Disney transportation. So I actually booked that when I was on board the ship. They were able to easily add it, give me the little sticker on my Key to the World card. It was $29 for one person. If you have a bigger group, you probably would be better off doing private transportation or an Uber or a taxi. There were plenty of those available, but for just me, the price ended up being about the same as Uber. And the reason that I love doing that is because I can get on the bus just whenever I get off. When you book Disney transportation, they will tell you that it runs from 7:30 to 9:30, and you don't have a reserved time. So I could just get off the ship whenever I was ready and go ahead, and there would be a bus waiting for me. I've done that now twice. I've never done it out of Port Canaveral, but I've done it now twice out of Fort Lauderdale. And I have to tell you, it's a very easy experience. Now, out of Orlando, I think it works a little bit differently, and I will always go with private transportation there because it is such a long journey. But yeah, it worked out really smoothly, and I had no issues whatsoever. Okay, the other thing I would say about Fort Lauderdale is if you go to the Disney Cruise Line website, you'll find the cruises out of Fort Lauderdale are way cheaper. way, way cheaper. So twice now, I have been able to sail out of Fort Lauderdale for right around the $2,000 mark. One time was for a 5-night, one time was for a 4-night. And if you check out of Cape Canaveral, it's very, very challenging to find a cruise for around the $2,000 mark. So I would say if you're looking for a good deal on a Disney cruise, you definitely want to check Fort Lauderdale. They used to do that when they sailed out of Miami. Now that Fort Lauderdale is the primary point, I like it better. I think the deals are fantastic. It would probably more than make up for the difference in airfare. You could also take the Bright Line, I believe, down to Fort Lauderdale. There's a lot of transportation options between Orlando and Fort Lauderdale. If you did want to combine it with a Disney World vacation, I chatted with some people out at Castaway Cay that were doing just that. It's very convenient. And yeah, I just think there's deals to be had. So there's deals to be had, and there's a really nice hotel you can stay at, and it's much more convenient to the cruise port. So I feel like for that reason, all things being equal, I would prefer to sail out of Fort Lauderdale than out of Port Canaveral. Yikes, can't believe I'm saying that. I get a lot of questions about Fort Lauderdale all the time, so I wanted to make this video so that I could reference it for you guys. I hope you found it helpful. Whatever you're doing today, I hope you're finding joy.